Welcome back, dear children. In the last video, we have discussed about the ray diagrams for a concave mirror. Now we will be considering the ray diagrams for a convex mirror. For a concave mirror, we had 6 different sets, but for a convex mirror, you have to consider only 2 ray diagrams. Okay, so shall we start? Only 2 ray diagrams in the case of a convex mirror. So first, you can write the heading ray diagrams for a convex mirror. Here also I told you I need just the lecture notes. So write the heading ray diagrams for a convex mirror. First one, object at infinity. That is the first one. Okay. Object at infinity is the first one. So here we have to draw a convex mirror, not a concave mirror. That you have to keep in mind. Okay. So in the case of a convex mirror, which side is the reflecting side? Reflecting side is the outer bulged part. Okay. So this is a convex mirror. Here I have given silver coating on the inner part. Then here I have the pole, and where should I mark the focus and center of curvature? Is it on the left side or right side? It is on the right side. Keep that in mind because this is taken from a sphere, isn't it? So we have the center of curvature, means it is the center of the sphere from which it is taken. It comes on the other side. So here we will be having the focus, and here we will be having the center of curvature. Don't forget to give the markings like this. Please don't give the markings on this side for a convex mirror. Always what you have to think is, here it is a spherical mirror that is taken from a sphere. So where that curve is there, for the center of curvature means it is the center of the sphere. So it should always come in the inner part of this. Okay. So this is the first thing what you have to remember, that is draw a convex mirror, draw the principal axis, mark the pole, focus and the center of curvature. Now first case is object at infinity. So if the object is at infinity, we don't want to draw it. Like the previous case, in the case of concave also, in the first case we didn't draw the object because it was at infinity, isn't it? So when the object is at infinity, you don't want to draw the object, we can just draw the rays. So you are considering a ray coming parallel to the principal axis. Okay. Consider a ray coming parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, what happens? It moves upward. Just drawing the focus here. Okay, it's too far from the pole. So I have considered a ray parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it will go like this. Now another ray parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it goes like this. Now we are extending the reflected rays in the backward direction. When the reflected rays are extended in the backward direction, where it meets at the focus. Okay. So first I have drawn a ray parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it went upward. Then here a ray, same thing, a ray parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it moves downward. I have extended the reflected rays in the backward direction. That is why you can see dotted lines here. If we are extending, we have to use dotted lines. Okay. And these two dotted lines meets at F. So what all things you can say here? Image at F. Okay. And here we are extending, that means it is a virtual image. Virtual means it will be always erect. And what about the size? Is it possible to see the image properly? No. So it is point sized, or what you can say is highly diminished. Okay. point sized or highly diminished. So I'll say it once again. First, we will be drawing the convex mirror. Mark the pole, focus and the center of curvature. In the first case, the object is at infinity. Light rays are coming from some other part. So we don't want to draw the object. We are just considering two rays parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it moves out. Then we are extending the light rays in the backward direction. When we extend, it meets at the focus. So image at F, virtual and erect. Why? Because the reflected rays are not meeting at a point. If the reflected rays meets at a point, then only we can call it as a real image. Here the reflected rays appear to come from a single point, so virtual. Virtual means always erect. And what about the size? It is highly diminished or point size. Okay. Okay, now we will move to the second case. Object anywhere on the principal axis. Object anywhere on the principal axis. In the case of concave mirror, see, center of curvature and focus were on the left hand side. So we could have say beyond C or at C, between C and F, at F, etc. But in this case, we are having the center of curvature and pole on the right side. So we cannot say anything related to it. That is the inner part of the mirror, isn't it? So here I have the mirror, pole, focus, center of curvature. I cannot go and keep an object inside this. This is the inner part of the mirror. Object will be placed in front of the reflecting side of the mirror. So here I don't have any other markings. That is why we are telling object anywhere on the principal axis. And that is the only reason why we have just two ray diagrams for this. Because focus, center of curvature and all are there on the inner part of the mirror. So we cannot say beyond C, at C or at F. Okay. So if you are keeping the object anywhere on the principal axis, where will we get the image? That is what we are going to check now. So I have kept the object here. First ray parallel to the principal axis. After reflection, it moves upward. Okay. Then, let me draw a ray properly. Let it go like this. Okay. So, after reflection, it moves upward. Then, next one. I'll be drawing a ray which hits on the pole. So, after reflection, it moves like this. Okay. Now, the next thing is we are going to extend the reflected rays. So, this one, first one, which moves upward. When you are extending, it should move through the focus. Okay. The ray which comes parallel to the principal axis after reflection appear to come from the focus. In the case of a concave mirror, what did we learn? A ray parallel to the principal axis after reflection moves through the focus. Here we cannot say that it moves through the focus because focus is in the inner part. So what we will say, the ray parallel to the principal axis after reflection appear to come from focus. It is not actually coming from the focus. We are extending it in the backward direction so that it meets that focus. Okay. So a ray parallel to the principal axis in the case of a convex mirror after reflection appear to come from the focus. That is why I have drawn it like this. So just extend the ray backward so that it hits at the focus. Now, this one also, I am going to extend this one also. So, it meets at this point. And here is what we are getting the image. Okay, the point where the two reflected rays meet. Here not the reflected rays, the rays after reflection moves in different direction. When you are extending it backward, it meets at a point and we will be getting the image at that point. So, this one I am extending it in the backward direction so that it should touch the focus. Here it is okay. Simply extend it so that it will meet on this reflected ray. Okay. Then there, this is the point where you are getting the image. So what all things you can say? If you keep the object anywhere on the principal axis, we will be getting the image between pole and focus. If you keep it far from the pole or closer to pole, no matter. In all the cases, in the case of a convex mirror, we will be getting the image between P and F. Okay. And here also the rays after reflection won't meet. We are extending it in the backward direction. That means it is virtual image. Virtual means always erect. Isn't it? So that is why I have given the arrow mark in the upward direction. So virtual and erect. And what about the size? It is diminished. In the previous case it was highly diminished. Here it is diminished. So is it clear? When we are keeping the object anywhere on the principal axis, you will be getting the image between pole and the focus. So once again I will tell you, first ray parallel to the principal axis, after reflection moves upward. When you extend it backward, it touches focus. Second ray hitting on the pole moves like this. When we extend, it meets at a point and the image is formed where these two extended rays meet. And the size should be small. It should be formed between P and F. However we draw, in which all places we keep the object, the image will be formed between P and F and its size will be small. So diminish. Okay, so is it clear? Now, with this we completed the ray diagrams. You can just take page number 164 in your textbook. Page number 164. So here also, there you can see the box in which the two ray diagrams are explained. Okay. So you should know that plus two ray diagrams. Now, from the next part onwards, it is removed from the syllabus. 7.22, relationship between focal length and radius of curvature. So from that till the uses of spherical mirrors, what is given in page number 166. So till that portion we don't want to consider. Okay. I'll repeat. Page number 164. Relationship between focal length and radius of curvature is not needed. Sign convention is not needed. Formulae for spherical mirrors are not needed. Now the last one what we need is about the uses of spherical mirrors. Okay. Uses you have to learn. So now we will move to the uses of spherical mirrors. First we will consider about the uses of a concave mirror. Okay. So there are many uses for a concave mirror and here we are going to discuss just three uses of a concave mirror. So the first one is a concave mirror is used as a shaving mirror. Okay, that is the first one. It is used as a shaving mirror and we will check why. In the case of concave mirror, we have learned 6 different cases. And just think about the last case, 6th case. Where are we keeping the object in the 6th case? We are keeping the object between the focus and the pole, isn't it? And in all the first 5 cases, we are getting real and inverted image. But in the 6th case, you are getting a virtual and erect image. So that case is used in a shaving mirror. So at the time of shaving, we have to see even the minute hairs on the face, isn't it? So here, if we keep our face is the object. If the face is placed in between the pole and the focus of a concave mirror, we will be getting a virtual and erect image of the face. So that shaving can be done easily. Okay. So keep this in mind. a concave mirror can be used as a shaving mirror. So in that case, where should you keep the object? We have 6 different cases to keep the object. We have to keep here, the object is our face, isn't it? So the object has to be placed between the focus and the pole. If that is 6th case, if the object is placed between the focus and the pole, you will be getting a virtual and erect image. In all the other 5 cases, you are getting inverted image. With that, we cannot do the shaving. So we are using the 6th case where we are getting virtual and erect image of the face. Now the second one, it is used as a reflector. It is used as a reflector in torchlights, in torches and searchlights. So what is the use of a torch or a searchlight? We have to see that a particular region clearly, isn't it? So when we are considering, when the object is placed at focus, where will we get the image? Do you remember? If the object is placed at focus, you will be getting parallel beam of light. And these rays, we assume that it meets at infinity, isn't it? So that case is used in the case of torches and searchlights. We will be keeping the object at focus. If the object is placed at the focus, then what happens here? When you are considering the object, if it is placed at the focus, you will be getting parallel rays of light. Okay, so that particular region will be visible for us. Now the third one is in the case of head mirror of the dentist. Okay, so when we move to the ENT and all, you can see, or in the case of dentist, they'll be keeping a small mirror on their head, isn't it? So that is considered as the head mirror. Doctor's head mirror. In the case of dentist or ENT, they'll be using a head mirror. So in that case, we will be considering the first one, that is object at infinity. So the light rays coming from different points or the places will meet at a point. When you are considering a dentist or a doctor, they want to focus at a particular point. So if you are considering the first case, that is, when the light rays are coming from infinity, the image will be formed at the focus. That means you will be getting the rays meeting at a small point, isn't it? So that is used in the case of head mirror. So speaking about the uses of concave mirror, 3 uses are explained: shaving mirror, then reflector in torches or searchlights, and as a head mirror of the doctors. In the case of shaving mirror, object should be placed between focus and the pole, reflector at focus, and head mirror means object at infinity, so that the rays will meet at a point. Okay. Then next one is in the case of a convex mirror. Okay. What are the uses of a convex mirror? So the first one is, it is used in street lights. And the first thing what you have to remember is, a concave mirror is a converging mirror. It converges the light rays to a point. But in the case of a convex mirror, it is a diverging mirror. It spreads the light rays. Okay. So the first one is, it is used in street lights. What is the need of a street light? Is it to give light to a particular region? No. In the case of street light, it should give light to that entire region, isn't it? Not to a particular point. Street lights means it should provide light to that entire region. So we have to use a convex mirror which diverges the light rays. The specialty of a convex mirror is it spreads the light rays. So a convex mirror is used in a street light so that it spreads the light rays in all the sides and that entire region will be visible. Here the view will be, that is, that entire region will be visible. Now the second one is, it is used as a rear view mirror. So what is the use of a rear view mirror? In a vehicle, we are having the rear view mirror so that the driver can look into the mirror and understand or can see the vehicles coming behind him, isn't it? So for that, we are using a rear view mirror. A convex mirror is used as a rear view mirror because its field view is more. A convex mirror diverges the light rays. So he can see that entire region behind him. Instead of that, if you are using a convex mirror, only a small part will be visible. In the case of convex mirror, it's the region covered will be more. Did you understand the difference? Concave means it actually converges the light rays. So only a small portion will be visible. But in the case of convex mirror, it diverges. Diverges means it spreads the light rays in all the direction. So that entire region will be visible if we are using a convex mirror. So if you want to spread the light, or if the region where we have to see, okay, if you want to cover more area, we will be using a convex mirror. That is why we said it in the case of street lights as well as rear view mirror. Street light means it should cover that entire region. So we are using a convex mirror. In the case of rear view mirror also, you have to see that entire region. That is why we are using a convex mirror. Okay. So here wider view will be there if you are using a convex mirror. Then the next one given in your textbook is the distinction between a plane mirror, concave and convex. No need for that. Okay. So from this part, you should study only the ray diagrams plus uses. Is it clear? And I told you no need to write the question answers. I need just the lecture note with the ray diagrams drawn with pencil. So is it clear? Then you have to write about the uses also. That is important. Next one, distinction between the plane mirror, concave and convex is not needed. Okay. So study these things and be ready for the Google Meet. I will be asking questions related to this. If you keep the object in this place, where will you get the image? So be thorough with that. I will ask questions and I will be giving imposition. Okay. So please study it thoroughly. Okay then, thank you children.